Hello, everyone, and welcome to another SAP Fans Cafe. This is a special session because this is our first time doing this in English. So we're pretty excited about that. I'm Gabi, I'm your host, and Edgar is also here with us, as always, as our moderator. And today, our guest is Paul Motherman from Nova Intelligence, and we are going to be talking about enterprise AI after the tech ed. So we want to discuss what is actually real versus what's just hype and what's next as well. And I'm also very interested hearing how it went for you both because you both attended the SAP Tech Ed. So I want to just hear everything about it. Welcome again, Paul, and yeah, thanks everyone for joining us. And Edgar, over to you.
hmm Okay, thank you so much, Gabby. Actually, I'd like to add that this episode is also very special because we have Paul with us, right? And that for me it's already a highlight. And at the same time, we're also, trying this new format that I hope it's something that everyone likes. And just that being said, I would like to again welcome to the show, Paul. Paul, thank you for being here with us today. Always amazing to have you here in the
Guys,
show and speaking about things.
guys, I want to also show my appreciation for doing this episode in English because I could not follow it otherwise. So I really appreciate the English stuff.
You're right. You're right. That's also pretty cool. Yeah. So I have plenty of things that I would like to hear from you, Paul. I mean, especially given that you have seen, I'd say, firsthand, right? What is actually happening when we are talking about AI in the
Mm,
enterprise, and how things are actually like going right, like happening,
yeah,
not only
yeah,
all the hype that it's behind the marketing and these kind of
yeah.
things. So maybe we can start a little bit there, like can you tell us a bit more about the 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 things that you are doing in the space, what you like the most, what are like the different flaws that you may be seeing at the time, and in general, how do you see the space going on at the moment?
So let me start with the flaws. Let's just jump to the negative first. The uh, so a lot of people watching or reading or whatever have probably seen lots of like kind of negative hype out there. Like you see, there's this famous or infamous study from MIT Sloan Business School, I think it is, that was like, 95% of enterprise Gen AI projects are failing and this kind of stuff.
I
Um,
just saw that one.
I like I can the reflection I have on things like that against the negative hype against the whatever is a couple of things. One is that I do see and kind of get the sense sometimes that like that when enterprise AI, especially the AI like the language models and agent stuff that's really rocket ship right now, is that like if enterprise and I hate to say this because been a person who has been part of an IT department, but like when enterprise IT departments get their hands on something, sometimes they like beat it to death with the governance and the like process and the rules and all this kind of stuff. This class of technology, this kind of stuff, again, especially the language model things like ChatGPT, Claude, Copilot, all this kind of stuff, um, is so much better served not by like a giant mandate from the corporate mothership, but more like just, hey, everybody, here's this incredible set of tools that you've never seen before in your life that are blowing up every month. You get like a new set of features, a new set of powers, whatever. Like, it makes no sense to have like the oracle of elders in the back room in the IT department trying to like come up with the ways, like, get it in the hands of the people and let the people tell you what they're trying to do. I was working at a project last year with a customer that I was just doing a consulting job with, And like this company, I don't think I can say who they are, but they're a really great company. And the VP who had kind of brought together the team to do this had this really great perspective of like, guys, get out of your own heads and just get the tools into people's hands, and then like enable that to give you the feedback. And when we set up little like, cafe sessions or whatever with people who are like out there trying things, we uncovered like the use cases that the business actually wanted to do with whatever kind of assistant, whatever, right? There's like, human creativity is endless and infinite, and that creativity matched with like the ghosts of all the internet that are wrapped inside the language models, right? That can unlock like knowledge and some form of agentic processes. Like, you can never sit in a room and plan for what people are going to do when they are just their creative selves. So like, you need to just like get out of your own head. IT departments, get out of your own head and just get the tools to people and listen to what they do. They will show you what is right and powerful and cool, and what you need to concentrate on. Okay, so that's my sort of reaction to like some of the negative hype stuff. Like, I will take a second to just briefly tell you guys, like, I'm an engineer at a startup, a Silicon Valley startup, where we're doing AI agents that's specifically in the SAP space. Um, and like, I also see the truth of what I just saw there is like, so we make an agent platform called Nova Intelligence, um, and it lets you take like SAP customizations, custom code, other kinds of things, and like plan and create and modify all of those things into like your preferred level of like clean core SAP, whether that's all the way up to the top of like cloud stuff, or even just kind of at that middle tier of like, don't do the really bad stuff kind of clean core. Um, Either way, the agents the platform we're creating makes agents able to do this. And and what I just said about the IT departments still holds true for the when we get our platform in front of people, because we do like a bunch of work to sort of lay like a very clean foundation, and inevitably as soon as we get it in the hands of a new customer, a new pilot, a new POC, whatever, the first thing everybody does is ask a question that we could not have anticipated. Like, humans are so creative, and they do it like right away. I guarantee you guys, if I gave you access to the platform that we use, and I was just like, okay, here's the ocean, swim, right? Like, the first thing you would do is you would ask a question to it that I had never seen before, because like everyone is just has their own unique perspectives that they bring to this. And when we evaluate the platform correctly, when we set up the right tools to do things correctly, when we go at it with the perspective of, we're not going to prescribe every single path, we're going to give you a tool that can help you prescribe the path and then execute the path prescribed. Oh, it's doing the thumbs up thing on my Mac. And then do the path that you prescribe, that you and the tool invented together, that we didn't have to invent for you. You can invent what you need in the moment. Like, that is, to me, the true like unlock of like the language models and the current state of AI in the world today, is like take your creativity and just jump in the ocean with it, and you will discover things you didn't think you even like. God, how do I put this? Like, there's no substitute for just trying, and you'll be shocked at like every time. We use mainly the Claude models from Anthropic in our tool set, and like with every model update, I can see little things that are like rising to meet my level of creativity inside the AI's, if you can call it creativity. I don't know. That's a discussion for a beer and a philosophy textbook. But like, uh, whether you can call it creativity or not, it's rising to meet me at that level. And sometimes I'll create like a little test for the stuff, and I expect the test to fail because I want the test to be something we can strive toward. And half the time I create a test that I want to fail, the AI will figure out the right way to do the thing, right? Like, Like every new instance of AI models attacking these things, like breaks through a barrier that I hadn't anticipated before. I'm so sorry. I'm just jabbering on for like 10 minutes. I apologize.
No,
But
no,
like
no. That's
this is my view of like AI, the like the language model part of AI in the enterprise could be summed up in IT, get out of the way, let people be creative, and just watch what happens. That's
mm,
my view.
yes. I think that's a very interesting point of view because if I hear you correctly, what we are saying is that we are starting this age where pretty much technology will be like a complement to people's creativity and
Yeah,
imagination, right?
yeah,
So that means
yeah.
that on one hand, the more things you can imagine, you can start creating, which I believe is
Yes.
pretty cool. And particularly for the enterprise, I also wanted to ask, what do you think? How is it that people need to be having at least some amount of knowledge about the tool or not at all to be able to express that creativity? In your experience, how is that looking?
So I do think that people need like rather okay, so let me this is I don't want to hit against SAP. I just want to say something about the way something is done in Joule that I think could be better done other ways. So SAP has Joule for ABAP, and that's powerful.
Mhm.
They've trained a language model that can write ABAP really well and this kind of stuff. Every time you see SAP talk about Joule for ABAP, they lay out their 5 like use cases for it. You can do this or this or this or this or this. Right there, I forget the like you can get code explained, you can have it draft an entity for you. There's a couple things, right? Like to me, that's a little bit of a mistake. That's a little bit of like giving you that's like giving you the entire tool set and saying you can only use the screwdriver, right?
Mm.
Like there's so much more power there that you're like shoving into a corner into this one or two things. And so I think rather than having so some level of education and learning is needed, but it's not the kind of education where it's like you must do this and then this and then this. It's not that kind of education. It's just an education about like here are the general capabilities. Here are some things you might run into. This is what hallucinations are. Here's how you can work with them a little bit. This is what a prompt is and what context is. This is how you learn with it, or this is how you sort of deal with it. And then you write as few prescriptions as possible to like what you should do, and you just do how you should do it. Like to me, that's the education that people need of this kind of technology is how rather than what to do. Because
Mhm.
then I think you'd like that sort of opens the door to like um also this, I guess this might sound a little bit, I don't know, not mean, but like whatever. Like I think your first few times that you use something new like this, you should bump up against a weird barrier that you didn't expect because you should be trying a thing that you just didn't know whether it would work or not.
Mm.
That's to me that's better because then now you're discovering the curbs, you're discovering the boundaries for yourself, and then your human mind starts to create a little model of like, oh, but I can do this. Oh, that's perfect for when I get emails with cat pictures from my grandma to put in my Google Drive folder or whatever, right? Like something like that. Like you get that sense of it and you attack the problem with like a goal in mind, and then like whatever agent or whatever system is working with you like helps you move toward that goal. And that goal every this just like I said, every person when they get a chance to do it they ask a question I never expected. Everyone has a different goal for their job, their life, their whatever, and like you need to sort of collaborate with it to discover the way to help it get you to your goal. And you won't do that if you're being told what exactly to type into the thing. that
Mhm.
that like stifles creativity. That stifles the process of this. You should be have the doors should be flung open to you, and just go have the chance to mess around and fail a little bit, but in failing, discover what you can do. Because okay, I'm so
Mhm.
sorry. I'm like taking up the entire conversation here, but like I feel very strongly that this is like not something that you should like beat yourself into a corner of like I must automate this thing and this thing alone. It's got to be I wake up every day and I think, what else can I try that makes
Mm.
things interesting for me? That's my thing. Edgar, what about you? What do you think about like the state of
Okay.
enterprise AI in this stuff?
Okay. That's interesting because on one hand, what I can see is, when we are talking about enterprise, right? In general, companies tend to be cautious, right? Many of them.
Mhm, mhm,
And that particular state of mind many times takes us to implement technology or end up implementing technology that perhaps we used to use 20 years ago, right?
yeah.
So that is something I'm currently seeing in one of our projects where if we see the landscape and we see the tools that they are using, I don't know. We pretty much went back 15 years in the past, and so I think
Yeah.
it's interesting.
Yeah.
Trying to, uh
Gabby, what about you? What are you seeing? What are you feeling out these days in this space?
I feel sort of the same as Ed. I feel that also we need to consider maturity levels of the companies to go to that world.
Hmm. Hmm.
People might want to move to that area or space, but they're not ready for it yet. So I think assessing all that first is a must, and then whatever comes based on that.
Mm,
Um,
mm, mm.
yeah, I believe that's one of the first steps we should definitely implement.
Okay. So Edgar, because I know because I saw you, so I know you were there at TechEd in Berlin. Um,
mhm,
give me some of your sort of like what did you pick up there as regards enterprise AI, as regards AI in general, whatever. Connect some dots for me there and what you learned. So
mhm,
let me just give you set the stage a little bit for myself because I was there as a vendor, so I was mostly camped at my booth trying to sell
mhm.
something. um, and I didn't get the chance to go to many sessions. I just went to like a couple of the big keynote kind of things, but not like the learning sessions. So if you had a
Mhm.
chance to do some of the other things or attend some of the things, give me your like hey, I picked up these things and now they're in my backpack or whatever, that kind of thing.
Mhm. Okay, so what I can tell you about it is that I was in a hands-on session for Joule Studio for agents.
Hmm.
And I think it was interesting the way in which you can, or they are kind of shaping, right, that space so you can go and create things. So on one hand, you can create the skills that in the end are like small pieces of functionality that you can access through Joule, right? So that's one thing. And the other is once that you have these small pieces, then you can kind of combine them, right? So the agent can decide and can orchestrate what you want to access and how, right? Not
Mm,
exactly how, but let's say that's more on the agent side, but at least that you are trying to complete one particular thing, or
hmm.
one particular goal, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So from the tool perspective, right? I enjoyed what I saw because it really felt easy, especially if you know the context, right, about how agents work and how you can start providing them
yeah,
with tools
yeah.
in context and these kind of things. So if you know that, if you have that as a initial um, kind of knowledge, right? Then it really, I believe the flow was kind of easy to follow,
Sure,
because
sure.
you created your things and then you kind of gave instructions to the agent and then you said you can use this and that. and everything up to that stage looked smooth. I really like what I saw, right?
Okay.
From there, you can get into the stage of testing the agents, right? And then testing the agent was also interesting because you get to see, for example, cards where you can approve things, right? So it's not only the agent working, but there's some human in the loop there as well, right?
Yeah, yeah,
You get to decide things and this kind of stuff. And unfortunately, that's where it's deviated a little bit, and we were told this was more like a pilot for the Yule Studio, because we got to see some things working at the beginning and then not completing the flow completely, like the
yeah.
complete thing. And then it was also a bit inconsistent in the sense that whatever steps we tried at the beginning and then we tried again, they weren't working anymore,
Mm,
So
yeah,
it
yeah,
was kind of buggy, I'd say still. I guess they are working on it, and at some point we will have something that is more production ready, or at least some
yeah,
alpha or beta that we can use.
yeah,
What I saw, I liked the way to build the agents. If they manage to make it work with certain level of confidence and with certain level of like actually productivity, we can name or think about it, then I think there's going to be an interesting tool for people to go and build agents, even if they don't know how to code, right?
yeah, yeah,
Um, so that's something that I saw. I was really expecting to see something working kind of end to end, but that was not the case, right? So I'm eager to
yeah.
see what happens next.
Yeah, I am too because so I didn't get the chance to do this at TechEd, but I have seen that agent studio builder you're talking about. I've seen it in various forms over the last what feels like many months. Like, and so I have this like dual like appreciation but also critique of this, right? Because like I appreciate that a technology vendor like SAP can like, hey, here's the state of the thing as it is. Maybe it's not perfect, but let's all learn and try it. I appreciate that. I really do. On a different level, I don't know how else to say this, but like, go faster, guys. Like, get it out there faster. Get it in people's hands faster. You know what I mean? Like, I think in April or May, I saw a version of this Agent Studio thing that I could try a little bit. Like,
Mhm.
April until now is like infinity million years in the current world. Like, it should be, I don't know how else to say this nicely. It should be out there. Like, make it real. Go now. Go. I I don't know. I don't know. Hopefully nobody from SAP is watching and like developing a hate feeling for me. But that's my view on this. Is like, go faster, guys. Go faster.
Yeah, I see what you mean, Paul. Especially as you said, right? Right now, these kind of things are moving so fast. Maybe they are also trying to play this catch-up game where they're seeing new things coming, and maybe they want to adapt to a roadmap and kind of deliver it. So I'm not really sure what might be happening there, but
Yeah.
definitely having something that we can start playing with. And they can also start getting real feedback about, right?
Yeah.
That would be
Yeah.
really useful. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, so there's that. And then for other sessions, what I saw was we saw tons of videos of how things are working or supposed to be working, right?
Hmm.
And only in the keynote, I think that's where we saw things happening in real time, right? With the developer advocates. So something I noticed that was a little bit fun to hear was I remember one of the advocates trying to run one of these agents, and she was saying something like, hopefully it will work, so it's interesting because even if it's something that you have tested before, right, whenever we are talking with
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
LLMs and
Yeah.
agents, there's still this small chance of hopefully, right, we will get
Yeah.
the result that we want. So that
That's,
caught my
I mean,
attention.
as the three of us are like technical people, we've seen these as they, and we know how demos can go. We know a demo is like rolling the dice essentially and seeing what happens. There's a level to which I really appreciate when somebody who is on stage is like, we're going to do it live. Let's try it and see what happens. That's a level of courage and a level of trust in yourself and the audience. That's I really appreciate. I like when people do that. I will. So here's another thing I noticed about this is that like, so there's a developer advocates. There's the guy with the blue beard and like his crew. I think his name is Josh.
Mhm.
And then there's also like the keynotes where you have like Muhammad Alam and Philip Herzig and Michael Emmeling coming on and doing their thing. And they have during their keynotes, they have demo experts. Come on. They have these little people who will like walk to the side and like get on a laptop and like do this really polished explanation of things that they do. I don't think they're developer advocates. I think they're something else. But they do that in those cases, I'm pretty sure many of those are actually not happening live. That person is
Mhm.
like advancing a slideshow or advancing a video on the stage, right? Because they'll say, and then I'll just do this, and they click a button, and then like 50 words appear in the chat thing, and I'm like, you
Yeah.
didn't just type that. You can't type that fast, right? So,
Right.
um, like that like there's still a mix of those things that go on in those keynote things. Yeah, yeah. So, did you did you or have you since had a chance to think about or play with the RPT-1 Rapid One that they announced in several of the sessions? I'm assuming.
Mhm. Well, to be honest, I haven't played with it just yet. I started with the documentation and understanding the concepts and all of that.
Mhm.
I think it's also interesting because in the end, right, most of the data that we have in SAP follows that particular format, right? So in
Yeah,
a way, it made sense that you would try to move away from data that was not that much structured into something that relates more to, let's say, 90 or 95% of your data. So to
yeah,
me, it really makes sense, but I'm also curious about what are like the actual results of doing that, right? When you're running that model, if you are actually getting better results or not.
yeah.
So
That's
I don't
so. I
know.
don't know.
What
I,
about you?
I don't know. I don't know if you're okay with this. I did bring up a. If you guys are okay with it, I can share my screen.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, it would be great.
I'm just using the RPT-1 playground. Is this? Can you see my screen? Is it sharing? There it is.
It's
Okay.
on.
This is the RPT-1 thing. This is the playground that they let people use with this. And so, I mean, Edgar, I assume that you know this since you read the announcement stuff. But Gabby, just so you have get an awareness, if you haven't had the chance to read about this, this is this is based on the transformer architecture. So it's got the same kind of neural network stuff going on that like ChatGPT and Claude have, but rather than like being auto-regressive, which means it just keeps adding to its own like output until it reaches a conclusion, it's actually it's actually filling in blanks inside what you give it. So you give it like a table full of stuff, and then you tell it, hey, these four cells are empty. Predict what should be in there,
Okay.
right? That's how this works. And so in the playground here, you can just tell it um, it's got this there's several kinds of like data sets you can monkey around with, and you can use your own too. But just an example here, like this is like some kind of like something about orders and suppliers that includes like a CO2 measurement, a carbon dioxide measurement of some kind for like, you know, the climate change compliance kinds of things, right? And
Hmm.
these three buckets right here have the predict flag on them. So it's based on the rest of the data in this table. What RPT-1 is going to do is like predict these values here. So when I hit predict, it's going to like insert some numbers in there as predictions of the things. So and this Edgar, this is where my question comes in, similar to yours, is that like the papers themselves describe this model as being 93. Here's the sales thing. 93.93% as effective as doing a custom model that only does this thing. So if I was a really good data scientist and I made a model that was only doing this one thing, I could do a little bit better than what RPT-1 does. But the advantage of RPT-1 is that RPT-1 doesn't care about the shape of the data. It just needs data in a shape, right? So this is like equipment sourcing with CO2 stuff. I can also tell it now, try to predict uh, this one, right? So this is now I'm asking it to predict like what kind of product is this thing. And I forgot what was it? I forgot what it was. I better add another. So okay, so we'll ask this one is a desk right now. And I'm going to change this to predict, and let's see what RPT-1 predicts that will be, right?
Mm-hmm.
So predict. Okay, and see that's an interesting bit here, right? That's a little bit different because this is now doing like the work of like you would have had to do like adjust your model or change something in order to predict like product stuff or quantity stuff or what you'd have to like nudge around a little bit how this was doing this. But RPT-1 as a general purpose prediction model, you can do a lot more things right away. And the question is if on average these immediate right away predictions are 93% as effective as what you could do if you made like a super specialized thing for it, is that worth the time savings? Is it worth the time savings to have prediction that's 93% good? And like a lot of times it probably is worth that, right? I
Mm-hmm.
don't know. It depends on what you're looking at, right? And so what I did find interesting too about this RPT-1 stuff is that SAP is, at least from what I've seen so far, they have announced like here's the uh here's the model. It's going to be available in like AI Core or Gen AI or whatever. I don't know if it is yet. Maybe it is. Um, and then what they didn't announce, at least at SAF or at TechEd, was and our products use it for this and this thing, right? So it's
Mm-hmm.
so far to what I understand, this AI research and this model here is not yet inside an SAP product,
Mm-hmm.
right? So like if I was SAP and if I was the researchers here who did this, what would be really interesting to me was be like, oh, this is awesome. Let's put this inside transportation management or materials management or what like some SAP sounding thing and
Mm-hmm.
like do interesting things there and like make a business because this is very techy. This is very techy that I'm talking about these transformers and predictions and all this kind of stuff. But like show me the business thing that's powered by this would be really interesting to me to see.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Anyway, so that
Yeah.
I had a chance to read the papers and stuff, so I thought I would share some stuff with you guys if that's all right. There you go.
Yeah, that's very cool, actually. And I believe there are two more interesting points here, Paul,
Yeah.
based on what you're saying. One is we are seeing a playground environment, right? Like a
Yeah.
confined demo kind of thing.
Yeah.
And in the values and the data points are limited in a way, right?
Yeah.
So it's, it's playground in the end. But once
Yeah.
that you transfer that into SAP, right, and into the products, definitely it would be interesting first for the SAP people to see how it's behaving, right, inside an actual thing. And
Yeah.
second, if that consistency of the model actually stays there by the time that we are using that for a real product, a real use case, and real data above everything, because here in the playground we may see data that is like curated and like makes sense and
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
every
Yeah.
time every time we see a table inside SAP, no matter who's the client, even for your own testing, you would see things that are looking kind of crazy, right? So what happens with the
Yeah.
model then? Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Very
that's
good question.
interesting. Yeah. And overall, Paul, given your actual experience, right, with the agents and the AI in the enterprise, um, what do you see as the future of AI enterprise in terms of are we still using LLMs as our main source of AI strategy, or really are we moving to something else? What do you see in the landscape and in general in the industry these days?
So so there's been if you're like me and you like watch all of the or listen to all of the like cool kids podcasts about this stuff, all of the top level researchers talking about this stuff. Um, there's kind of a little bit of a narrative thread going through these things, which is like LLMs as the cognitive core of something, and then attached to like other things. So, an example where I kind of where I one where I place I see this is like right now it's very powerful to have well my products Nova Intelligence or other products like I give it a prompt and it creates like the core and some really good stuff of like an app, and then I kind of like adjust the knobs a little bit and I give it a paint job and this kind of stuff, and then it goes out to my users or my customers or whatever. I definitely think that what will continue to happen is that rather than having like somebody sit down and say and prompt an app into existence that then gets shared, is that end users will just sit down and prompt the thing they need, and it will just exist in that moment right for them, and they won't need an intermediary person for many of not everything but many of the things. They won't need an intermediary developer to like make things for them. Developers will get the chance to do like bigger and better things, and then end users won't have to wait for like a nerd to go put together the Lego blocks of some application. It'll just happen, right? Like, and I think there's also like an ephemeral or ethereal perspective here, which is that like sometimes when I ask a question and I get an answer, I don't need an app. I don't want an app. I just want the answer to the thing. And in traditional world, maybe I would have to write an app to get there because I would have to like stitch together some ideas and like codify them in code and make it happen. But what I think will happen is that like even for questions that are really weird and crazy and hairy, like the agents will figure out the answer for you in the moment without the need of having like a concrete like thing you can hand off to somebody else. It'll just like even today I can watch this happen. I can watch the pieces of this happen when I use Nova and I ask a general purpose question, and Nova goes out and like draws on all of its tools and draws on all of its context, and you can watch like 100 steps happen. And in those 100 steps, it gets to the thing I needed to do. And like I didn't have to like invent those steps myself. Like I needed to have the goal and I needed to have some sense that it could be done, but like the how is like I can work with AI to like have a custom how every time. A custom a custom map can be created for every treasure you want to go hunting for every time. It doesn't have to be like a map that you go to the map room and pull out a map that somebody made 20 years ago. The AI can make the map for you right then, and you get the treasure right away. Like that's where I see, you know, what to me feels like near future, probably not as near as I think. I'm kind of a Kool-Aid drinker or whatever, but like I see kind of near future that happening like powerfully and quickly for people to do things with. What about you guys?
Okay. So from my perspective, I believe there's going to be a bunch of new user interfaces to begin with, in
Hmm.
that voice and some sort of screen to see things will be there. But I like the perspective that you are bringing in the sense that you need something, then you get to get the logic created for that for you, right? And then you see
Yeah.
the result.
Yeah.
Because honestly, I've been trying and doing stuff at work, right? That
Hmm.
even, you know what, doing some web scrapping, right? For any
Yeah.
reason I had to. Uh, but at some point, web scrapping became, like clicking multiple times and then checking the network tab and this kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
And,
Yep.
and then, of course, you can automate that, right? Because you can go and
Hmm.
create a program, but it will take time. So sometimes it's that balance between how much it will take for me to create the program instead of just clicking over 200 things and
Hmm.
get the
Yeah.
information.
Yeah.
So if honestly, if I could get something that does that for me, right, that understands I want to click here to get this information and it can just be there when I need it, that would be awesome. I mean, it would really save time for me, like a lot. Yes, Gabby, please tell us about you.
Yes. No, actually, I wanted to go back to the conference itself, and I want to ask
Yeah.
you something to both of you, um, because from I have seen in conference that everyone talks about like the big announcements with the executives on the main stage. But I have a feeling that veterans of the tech ed, in particular, since we're talking about that event, know that the real goal often happens on those small breakout rooms, those unconference sessions. So I want to ask both of you, was there like a hidden gem of a session or like a smaller demo or something like that that you stumble upon that didn't get like big press coverage but actually impress you more than the main events?
Edgar, I want you to go first because I have something to say, but it's going to be a very. Anyway,
Mhm.
please.
All right. Well, in my experience, I'd say that some vendors presented things that were not 100% SAP related, right? And it was interesting because you get to see, in a way, what is happening in the ecosystem, and you get to compare that to what is happening inside the ecosystem, right? So it's not exactly as if I had seen something like completely new, but
Okay.
definitely to me that would be like a highlight to see how things are happening elsewhere and how far are we in terms of that benchmark, let's say, right? In terms of the SAP technology. So even though, as you said, Gabby, it's not really like something really mind blowing, maybe. But to me, it
Mhm.
was really interesting to see that what's happening in industry outside SAP, but at the same time, kind of in the same space where I can compare one to one and see where we are, right? So that would be the highlight for me. What about you, Paul?
So I have two things. One is just a complete like shameless plug that Nova, I'm just going to point to Nova on my little thing there. We had a session there it is. Nova. We had a session, like we did a session and we presented, we had a little video and all that kind of stuff. And like I think that we didn't get as much press as we should have from like what we showed there. But that corporate shill done. I'm done with that because the other thing I want to say about like all the conferences and stuff like that is very related to what you said, Edgar, which is like, and Gabby, I completely agree with you, is that like the real stories don't happen on the stage. They don't happen with spotlights and demo experts and big screens and whatever. And I also think that the real stories are basically always with the customers, right? Like I if I could go to like because in North America we have ASUG, the America's SAP user group. Um, Germany has DSAG. You know, there's other like regional groups around the world, right? Um, Whenever I go to one of those events, and I say this as a person who works at a like a vendor, like I hate going to the vendor sessions I want to go to the session where the customer talks about what they did, because that's always more interesting, and it's a better like it's a harbinger. It's a prediction. It's a foretaste of what SAP should be looking at, because this customer had a problem they had to solve themselves, and it's not always I solved the problem by installing SAP blah 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 and there was like, who cares if that, like, if that's the but like,
Mhm.
tell me the story of like a weird thing that you had to do yourself and get figured out, and then like together with SAP or together with a vendor you did like something interesting. Like, that's what I want to hear all the time. I don't want to hear complete, like, if I go to an SAP conference, I kind of I only want to hear SAP talk like twice, and I want to hear customers
Mhm.
talk like the rest of the time. Is my preference.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah, I
my thought.
agree.
And I guess it's also like very easy to caught up in the high tech, sorry, tech at high, like a
Yeah,
high,
yeah,
seeing demos and feeling like the future is here. But I want to
yeah.
ask you both again, when, I don't know, Monday arrived, the next day that you were at work, was there like one practical thing that you could, that you saw that you could actually use immediately on your first day back to work rather than just dreaming about it in 3 years from now?
Oof, that was a tough question.
That's a really good question, Gabby. Okay, so my answer to this question. Okay, I just thought about this. Um, is that it was unfortunate for me that I was, well, I mean, it's fortunate for me in one way, but unfortunate in the other way that I couldn't go to the sessions I wanted to go to, because like there are like nitpicky detail sessions about like ABAP wrap, BTB cap, all these other kinds of stuff that's like out there doing its thing in the world. And if I had the chance to go to those deep dive sessions and like sit in the room and like poke something, I know that I would have brought things back the next Monday or whatever day to work. But because I was a vendor, I didn't get a chance to go to those things very much. But it was like, but those things are like one or two layers below the hype things, right? That's the like, it would be like, announce RPT1, announce something else, but in the session, try this other thing. And like the thing you could try, for the most part, except for like Dual Studio or whatever, would be a thing you could actually go back and bring to yourself or your customer that next Monday or Tuesday or whatever. That's my thought.
Mhm. Yeah,
Okay.
very
What
true,
about you?
Paul. For me, I'd say the short answer would be no. But there's a caveat, right? Because, well, first of all, I'm not working with SAP technology at the moment, so not much that I could port
Mm,
outside SAP. But I'd say that the interesting part is that I got to see how things are working, right? And you get to see details about the implementation or licensing or other things that when you go back to a customer and you start talking to them, right? And they ask, you have already seen it or experimented with it, meaning that at least you know how things are supposed to work,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah,
So even though you're not applying it directly, at least when you get the chance to do so, right? Even in a trial account or as a demo or proof of concept or just talking to it, right? You know what you're talking about. And it's not just like, yeah, some PowerPoint presentation or some documentation I saw
Mhm.
once, right? So to me, I think that's the value out of what we managed to see, that we know, right,
Yeah,
how
yeah.
things are working and also where they are moving. So yeah, I'd say that, Gabby.
Great, thank you. I do have one last question, like with respect to the event or the conference,
Yeah,
and I have it because Paul, we have been doing these sessions with a bunch of SAP, experts and also champions. So
yeah,
whenever a champion is here, we talk about their journey and how they are able to help people and how big the SAP community is, and again, how you help each other in forums and things like that. So I guess there's like a saying in this ecosystem that the hallway track is more valuable than the actual agenda, because I guess you spend a lot of time talking to each other in the SAP ecosystem on LinkedIn, on X, etc., SAP forums. But the tech ed, I feel like it's a family reunion for you, where all these avatars become real people. So I want to ask you both, who was that one person that you have known digitally for years, and then you had a chance to meet them face to face, and how did I go? How is your view from their work right now after you met them?
That's a man. That's a great question because since so I've been going to the U.S. Vegas one. I mean, when it was in Vegas, in the U.S. for a number of years, and like, of course, you get to see like mostly the American crowd when you're there, right? I mean, some people make the trip from overseas, but like my experience of it was very American centric when I went to that stuff. And so when I went to Berlin, I saw so many faces in person that I had never seen in person before. I mean, I don't know. I don't even know if it's fair to list them all because there's so many like, oh my God, it's blah blah blah. Where like, I mean, it's such a small weird community that like on the street nobody cares, but inside the conference you're like, oh crap, that's XYZ. That I like. Okay, so here's the funny thing that I love is that like when you meet somebody in person the first time, like on a screen like this, Gabby, by the way, like if I met you in person, that would be great. I would love to do that. I have no idea how tall you are,
Yeah.
right? Right. So like you could be like 4 inches taller than me, or like you could be like 2 feet tall. Like I don't know. And so when I meet these people, all of a sudden, sometimes I'm like, oh my God, you're way taller in person than I thought you were in on a
Right.
screen or in a social media thing or whatever. But that's one thing. But then the other thing too is that like people look the same but also different, right? Because I've met people in person where like I'm like, oh, I know you, but like, how do I know you? And then they say their name, and then the profile picture like clicks with the real person, right? And then it like cements in there. So for me, it was like tons of like SAP community people that I've seen over the years that I got the chance to shake their hand or meet in person, and I, I get okay. Maybe let me give you four names just to like whatever. So I got to meet Gregor Wolf in person the first time, Volker Buzek, Soren Schlegel, and Robin Heffenhoff. Among many other people that I had never met in person, but those guys like I've followed for years and I've seen their stuff for years, and I was like, it's amazing to get to see these people in person. It was awesome.
Mhm.
Great. Amazing. What about you, Ed?
Well, to be honest, well, first of all, this was my first decade in person, so just by
Okay.
that, it was special, right? And at the same time, I agree with Paul. I mean, it was really, I guess, because of the fact that again, it came to a place where many people could actually get into, right? Then you got to see many people from around the world, from the community. To me, that was the best part, honestly, about the event, that I got to talk to the people that you normally just send messages to, right, or see their
Yeah,
posts.
yeah,
So the fact that you get to interact with them and talk to them, just by that mere fact, I think there's like a lot of value that you're unlocking.
Yeah.
Let me tell you why. Whenever I'm talking to people, I can see or I get to see a little bit what's behind all the posts and all the pictures, right? And you get to see like how they are thinking, what's like the way in which they are linking ideas, what they share with you about their world, right? What they are seeing lately, what they have willing to explore or they are willing to explore. So it's really quite an experience because sometimes you can create an image of a person, right, through LinkedIn, in what they post and everything. But when you
Yeah.
talk to them, when you interact with them, right? Even when you hug them, that's like, oh man, it's so great to see you, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
But you really, get to see the person behind that, and I think that's just amazing,
Yeah.
to
For
manage
sure.
to connect in that level, right?
Yeah.
With the people. So I really enjoyed that, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I wanted to ask this particular question because Edgar shared a bunch of pics to me with all the people he met. He was so happy, and I think it was one of the best weeks this year for you, Ed.
Mm.
And I saw you so happy with even like your Mexican friends and people from around the world. So I wanted to ask you this because I know there's a lot of value on meeting with
Yeah.
all the SAP folks,
Yeah.
and yeah,
For sure.
amazing.
For sure.
Yeah, I was truly happy and really excited. As Paul said, right? Sometimes in the outside the community, you would take the picture and look at who I found, right? And if you go outside, it's like, yeah, another person, right?
Who cares? Yeah.
Yeah. But once that you
Yeah.
are there, it's like amazing. I didn't think about actually meeting this person, right?
Yeah.
So it's just that amazing feeling that you get, and I really appreciate that. And thank you for asking, Gabby.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
no,
That was
Very good
very
question.
good.
Very
I
good question.
really wanted to know about the actual event and in terms of people and the feeling of it. So we have 2 more minutes. Ed, I don't know if you have a closing comment or even like a final question to Paul.
Oof. The thing is, speaking to Paul, I guess, or I think we could be speaking to him for hours straight. Like there are so many questions and
And
so
I would
many
do
other
it
things.
too. I would love to do it.
And you
Yes,
guys met,
amazing.
right? You
Yeah.
met
Yes,
Yeah.
in
We
person.
met. Yep.
of course,
Amazing.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fantastic. And yeah, I mean, it would be a long time that we can be talking and like sharing things. And actually, we should do that, Paul,
We should. Yeah.
whenever you have time. But aside from that, I just want to say thank you, right? Because you have been here on the channel a couple of times, and it's always amazing talking to you, getting to see your perspective. Thank you for sharing what you're seeing on the AI space. I think that's
Hmm.
very
Hmm.
valuable because that's the real thing, right? That's not hype, that's not marketing. That's what
Yeah.
people are actually experiencing, and
Yeah.
getting that value is not always possible, right? So I really appreciate it that you're here with us and sharing all of that that value with us.
And
Yes, Paul.
likewise, thank you for having me on, guys. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much,
Amazing.
Paul. It's always a pleasure. And again, whenever you have time and there's a new topic that we can discuss, you're more than welcome to join us.
Good.
All right. Thank you, Ed, as well. And I was thrilled to hear all your experiences there. And I was really looking forward to that. And I really loved this session. Thank you for everyone that joined us today through like LinkedIn or YouTube. And we'll be back again next week with another session. Have a good one. Bye bye.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.